Amazing story. I mean, Dave was out in Seattle with his brother-in-law, Bill O'Connor, as an assistant, got homesick, came back here, and Don Feely gave him a job, I think, coaching the freshman team back in the mid-'70s. And a couple years down the road, Coach Feely said, you know what, I'm retiring. So Dave, here you go. And now Dave gets this program and just recruits the kind of kids that he knows will play for him and play hard. He gets guys like Keith Bennett to come in here, and Roger Younger and Joe Jackson, and the next thing you know, they're competing in the New England, Division II tournament, and they're in the Elite Eight, and they're going to Springfield. And I think they got to the quarterfinals a couple of times before they lost, but then in '85, '86, that was the magic. I mean, a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors. These kids have been playing together for 3 or 4 years. They were not a team; they were almost like a band of brothers, and it was an amazing run.
Well, he grew with it, obviously. He took an upstart program and something less than a Division I program and turned it into the Division I program that we have now by winning national championships and turning young players into young men. You'll see all the alum who are coming back, the people that I see on the streets, the people who have memories of Dave and his days at Sacred Heart, all talk about how he helped them, not only here on the court, but helped them off the court, helped them become what they are today, and we're all thankful for everything that Dave's done.
Always when I used to go into his office, and this was probably after they went Division I, so I'm talking 2001, 2002, I always couldn't help but notice this book up on his mantelpiece. And you would think, coaches have, their trophies, their, headlines, national championship, all this stuff. Dave Bike had this little book on his mantelpiece called The Little Engine That Could. And I always would ask him about it, and he would just kind of say, you know the story. And it's like, yeah, this little engine who got it into his head that he could do these incredible things and accomplished them. And I think that's what Dave was trying to do with Sacred Heart, especially building it up from D2 to D1. We can accomplish these things if we have the right mindset, if everybody has a positive attitude, and if we all work hard. The sky's the limit as to what we can do. And I think that book kind of summed up, Dave Bike's coaching career was just, let's keep going. I think I can. And then I knew I could.
Probably more than anything else, Coach Bike had a way of keeping athletics, his sport, basketball, in perspective. There are many more important things in his life aside from being a basketball coach.
He gave me a lot of responsibility, but also gave me a fresh outlook on how to do things, on how to look at things. And it was something that I really believe that I needed. And I think I'm a better person for it. I don't think I know I'm a better person for it. I know I'm a better coach for it.
I just talked to Howard White, who said Coach Bike always knew how to push everybody's buttons and get them to do what they needed to do. And that was probably the best thing about him. Coach Bike was never a screamer, never a yeller, but he knew what to do or what to say or what to whisper in somebody's ear to get them to play their hardest. And that's what led him to the national championship in '85, '86.
Oh, he give you an earful. He tell you what you're doing right, what you're doing wrong. And, he's also a motivator. And, you have to do that to your players there. If you don't get your point across, different ways, sometimes you got to sit a guy on the bench 10 minutes to get his point across. Sometimes you have to get in his face, because he wants you to get the job done. At the time, we always thought we was the best team, but there's a debate, other teams are better. But we just had the chemistry and, the puzzle fell into place at the time. He was nervous. I think, he was a little more nervous than the ball players, I remember in the semifinals, we was getting beat. We was down at 1 point 17, and I think we cut it to maybe 13 at halftime. And we went in the locker room and we felt loose, but we felt all of us wasn't doing our roles that got us there to the championship. So we just went back to basic. Basically, everybody did what they had to do, and we came out victorious, and then we won the championship game. It's like one of our best days in our life because we start off the season, we're on a mission since day one, since practice, we're on a mission, and when we won the championship, mission was accomplished.
the 1986 championship was obviously a watershed accomplishment, and it was amazing that he was able to do it. When you think about the size of the institution at that time and what resources were available to even win a conference championship, never mind move on through a regional and a national championship. He had great players. He had that knack, I think, more than anything else, to get the best of those players when he was competing, and they were all a great credit to him and to the community of Sacred Heart.
Besides being an unbelievably successful coach, winning a national championship, he was just a great ambassador for Sacred Heart University in the basketball community and in Fairfield County at large. He was just, he really led by example. He was very true to himself, true to the mission of this university, and he was great for young coaches like myself to see how a person should act, how a leader should act with such humility and character and integrity.
Coach Bike, what's going on, man? Congratulations. I'm really excited about this achievement, and I wish I could be there, but unfortunately my job causes me to miss a lot of events that I would like to attend. But I felt that I needed to somehow show my appreciation for you, as you're being appreciated right now by all the wonderful people at Sacred Heart University. I just want to say there's one thing that you taught me that has stayed with me up until now, and probably will stay with me until my time on this earth ends. I would like to be able to say it was a drop step or a basketball move, but it actually had nothing to do with basketball at all. When I first came to the U.S. as a 17-year-old kid, I met you on the campus of Sacred Heart on my recruiting trip, and you introduced yourself to me and stuck your hand out. And me, the timid island boy I was at that time, I gave you a very limp, weak handshake. And what you proceeded to do was to squeeze the hell out of my hand and to tell me that as a man, when you introduce yourself to someone, you look him in the eyes and you give a firm handshake. And this, I'd never forget. This was something that, I hadn't been told even by my own father. So for this piece of advice, I thank you very much. Now I am on the giving end of very many painful handshakes. So anybody who I shake hands with, they could thank Coach Bike for that misfortune.
And he also had a wonderful dry sense of humor. I mean, when I was in college, I studied philosophy, and I read Socrates, and I could understand Socrates better than I could understand some of the punchlines he gave me when he was joking around in the office or down in the locker room. We've
been very fortunate as a basketball program, as a university, to have someone who really displayed the values that this university prides itself on.
He always talked about his hometown. He was proud to come from this area. Every time somebody said, "Hey, I'm so-and-so," especially when he was like playing baseball, "Where are you from?" "I'm Dave Bike from Bridgeport, Connecticut." He loved this area. He was so proud of it. And I think the fact that, a hometown guy here, basically right in, his backyard, was able to coach for 35 years and, coach over 1,000 games and win 529 games and be inducted into who knows how many basketball Hall of Fames, and never had an ego. Always was this down-to-earth, gentle giant, like grizzly bear of a guy.
He's an amazing person who lived his life for others once he got out of professional baseball, and he came here to Sacred Heart to do it.
Would be your best friend at the drop of a hat. And I think that just encapsulates Dave Bike. Never had a bad word to say about anybody. And I think you ever talk to anyone else, they'll always have kind words to say about Dave Bike.
But I think with Dave, more than anything else, is that he's a solid human being. He cared about his players. He had a real sense of family and a commitment to those athletes, both on and off the court. And to be able to dedicate the basketball court in his name, I think speaks volumes of not only what I think of him, but what the community at large thinks of Dave Bike, the person.
It means the world to all of us. I don't know what it means to Coach Bike because he doesn't like these kind of honors. He'd rather just have you come up, shake his hand, say, pat him on the back, say good job, and go off. I think for us, I think it means more to us because we know what Dave Bike meant to the community, what the Sacred Heart family, and it's going to be awesome to see Dave Bike Court on this court for perpetuity or whatever. It's going to be tremendous.
Said, Coach, I'm very proud of you. It's going to be a very emotional day for you Saturday, and there's nothing wrong with crying. And I'm sure we're going to cry with you. Keep your head up. I love you, and you've always been a father figure for me and many others, and we're very proud of you.